Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. And in today's video, we're going to talk about using weed to avoid, escape, and numb versus pursuing growth and facing life, right? And this video is really meant to meet people who are right at that point where they are probably near the tail end of a pretty significant binge, could be for weeks, months, even years. And you are finally considering significantly smoking less and more so addressing the things in your life that you've been avoiding. And to kind of paint the picture for you and to let you know that I know exactly how that feels, I've gone through that cycle many times. And what it felt like for me was, there were things in my life, big, medium, and small, that were bothering me and that I felt a certain level of insecurity about, or I just knew that I wanted to change. But instead of actually changing them, I would just escape and I would numb and I would avoid and I would do all of that while using marijuana as the vehicle. And it's very convenient, it's very comfortable, and it's easy to feel a sense of happiness and like everything's fine when, I'm high. All of that just to avoid these various uncomfortable feelings of, oh my God, I'm not in the shape I want to be, or oh my God, my career is not where it needs to be, or oh my God, I feel X, Y, and Z about myself and I don't want to address that. And oh my God, right? And instead of, addressing those various elephants in the room, I would just avoid because it's easy to do. And it's much easier to just, I'll push that off to the next day. And it would get to the point for me where I would just go deep, deep, deep in the rabbit hole of just getting high to get by that day. And I don't even want to think. I don't even want to feel. And sometimes I would even think to myself, like, I want to get so stoned. I want to get so stoned. I don't even want to remember my name, right? That level of distance away from the emotional, psychological, and spiritual pain that I wasn't addressing. And, so with that said, we're going to go through a little timeline here and you can, see it for yourself. But what I really want to do is have this video be, if you're someone who can relate to what I just shared and you're at this position where, you're considering making a change, significant change in your life, right? This video is for you. This video is meant to meet you where you're at, hopefully. And so with that said, it's an honor to have you here. And I say that because I know what it's like to be at that fork in the road where you're finally, probably getting high doesn't even do anything for you at this point, right? It doesn't even numb you that much anymore. You don't get the giggles. You don't really feel this like wonderful high anymore. So even though you're still smoking, it's at a point where the high isn't giving you anything. And now even the high isn't there for you in life, right? And in a way, you're kind of forced to address, like, okay, wow, like, we're kind of depressed, right? We're kind of not happy about this. And I guess I need to make a change, right? So I know what that feels like, and I know how delicate and vulnerable and raw this space could be, and so it's an honor to have you here. And throughout the rest of this video, just take a deep breath with me in this moment, like, because if you're really in that spot, right, like, it's like this is a big deal, and not to make it significant and not to overwhelm you, but in a way, we are fighting for your life, right? Like because obviously you don't want to go through this numbing escapism again, right? Ideally, and you can see how this is so much not even about weed, right? This is about you as an individual. This is about your life. This is about wanting to make changes, and likely a failure to make sustainable changes in your previous attempts, right? I can only assume that this may not be your first attempt and your first time at this fork in the road moment, right? And so, again, just take a deep breath and just soak in the energy of this video. I'm going to try and up the energy so it's not this whole like sadness, shameful deal, because that's the opposite of what I want to bring to you in this video, okay? And so the first thing I want to do is just to acknowledge that that's where you're at. And ultimately, this is a good thing, right? You are at a point where you are ready to make a change. You are tired of being tired. And so this is good, right? You are parting through the clouds, you are cutting through the haze and the fog, and you are mustering the courage, right? The courage to admit that it's time, right? You know what? It's time to, it's about time we're done with this whole just smoking weed to just get by through the day instead of, applying for that job or upping your standards in school, or you've wanted to get back in the dating world but you've just been avoiding it because there's so much pain there. Or maybe it's all of those things, right? You want to get in shape more, you want to up your money, and you're just at this point where you can finally admit that none of that's going to get better unless I actually do something about it. And you're at the point where you are ready to put aside the weed safety blanket and face things, right? And that's powerful. That's powerful. Powerful meaning being at that place where you are ready to face potential pain, right? Because let's take a quick second to talk about, part of running to weed for escapism and avoidance and numbing is this not wanting to feel the pain of whatever area you want to address, right? First is the pain of like even thinking about the fact that, oh my God, I really am not where I want to be in life. And I want to get to another level, but I like even just facing that takes courage, right? So that's one level. And then there's a whole nother level of, okay, the courage to actually be held accountable for the plan and the execution of the actions that will get you to that next level, right? That's another layer of pain. And so being in this position and this space where you have the willingness and the courage to, I'm ready and I'm down to do whatever it takes. I'm ready. And that's a beautiful fucking thing, to actually be in a place where you are willing to face pain in life. And that's the opposite of what escaping with weed is, right? Because escaping with weed, and this is so different than recreational use, right? Escaping with weed is what? I don't even want to feel nothing. I don't even want to be held accountable for my own stress management. I just want to fucking get stoned as hell. I want to get lost in video games. I want to get lost in YouTube and being stoned at the same time and not even remember my name, right? Those are things I would think to myself. I want to get so stoned, I don't want to even remember my name. I just want to forget everything. I want to forget all the pain of life. I want to forget all the suffering of everything. And I just want to leave this place, like emotionally and psychologically. And it's like, man, that's tough, and that was my case. I know that's like, whoa. Okay. So this is great. Okay. You have the courage. You're tired of being tired. You're ready to face the pain. Let's now talk about clearing the space and getting closure. Okay. Closure on whatever shame you might have, closure on whatever regrets you might have, closure on the fact that you've been playing small to whatever degree you've been playing small, and getting closure around what really is like a subconscious FU to ourself. And what I mean by that is, it seems innocent. It seems like it's not that deep, right? Like, oh, but let's say, for example, if you're someone, well, let's go to me, right? I'll use myself as an example. I can admit that for many years, instead of actually going for things and applying myself at the level that I know I'm capable of, I would not only cut myself short, at worst, I would completely avoid stepping up to the plate at all. Right? Like, for those of you who've been following this channel for a while, I stopped making videos for like almost 2 years. And there were a lot of things that went into that. But the bottom line is I was like scared and anxious and ashamed about various different things about myself, and had such a lack of integrity that I just couldn't find myself to make videos. And what I did instead was, I would just get lost in weed. Obviously, I had other things going on in my life, but a big part of me not making videos at that time was because I was just escaping and numbing and avoiding with weed. And that whole process of doing something like that, in a way, is a subconscious FU to myself, meaning, oh, Gabe, you're not good enough to show up vulnerably and make videos. You are not strong enough to handle whatever feedback or criticism you might get, or you, Gabe, are not worthy of because look, like, and again, we're not making these conscious decisions, but it's like, so instead of pursuing growth and pursuing goals and applying myself whether I fail or succeed, I was just choosing to not put myself on the field, and instead was subjecting myself to a version of self-harm by just like blasting myself with weed and junk food and getting lost in video games, and not in a healthy, fun way. Like, no, I'm going to avoid my life because I'm scared and I don't think I can do it. And instead, I'm going to just essentially like blast myself with dopamine and chemicals, gain weight. It's like, man, like that will do something to yourself subconsciously, right? Because that is not treating yourself. That's not treating myself with respect. That's not treating myself with love and compassion, right? If anything, it was like, oh no, Gabe, you're not, no, go put yourself on the bench and harm yourself, right? And it wasn't always that deep, and it never feels that way when you're in it. But it's like these like kind of indirect subconscious FUs. No, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in myself. It's too hard. It's anyways, okay? So that's what's in the space. And what I mean by in the space, it's in our emotional self, our psychological space, right? Our spiritual space. And it's important to get some closure around all of that. And it doesn't have to be some super duper journal therapy session, but it is important to just reconcile whatever this last chapter you were going through was, right? So let's say, for example, for a year, instead of, let's say that deep down you hate your current job, you want to make more money, you want to be in better shape, and you just want X, Y, and Z in your life, but you just haven't done anything about it. And not only have you not done anything about it, you've just chosen to just like smoke weed and do whatever instead. And you wouldn't be watching this video right now unless, that was something that has really been eating away at you for a good bit. And so what getting closure and clearing their space might look like is to just take a moment to, first of all, have the courage to just face that reality of like, damn, like I have not been showing up the best of myself. I have 100% just been avoiding and escaping and playing small. And that feels like shit. And it makes me sad. Um, so emotions might come up. It might come up. And just to meet yourself where you're at and just come face to face with things that you've probably been feeling and thinking deep down, but maybe have been suppressing. And just taking a moment to like meet yourself wherever you're at and be like, fucking shit. And just take a deep breath. Again, this all doesn't have to happen while you're watching this video. But just, yeah, like doing whatever you need to do to almost like have a talk with yourself as if you were another person, like as if you were repairing a relationship that you had abandoned, right? The relationship with ourself. It's like, damn, I have not been showing up the way I know I'm capable of. And it doesn't have to be that deep, right? Maybe it's like I haven't been showing up. And I can admit that. And that doesn't feel great, but I can handle the fact that that's the truth. And just whatever is your truth, right? If it's deep and like really, really stuck in there, and maybe therapy is something to consider. It might take actual talking to, it might take actual journaling, it might take some, deeper work. Then that's where you need to meet yourself. Or it could just be like, you're someone who's maybe a little more advanced, or you've chipped away at a lot of this already, and maybe it's just as simple as like, yep, I've been just going left instead of going right. And all you have to do is just take ownership of that. Powerfully take ownership of that. Like, yep, that's me. I've been going left instead of right. And that's totally me. And I admit that I was just going left instead of right. And I have no excuses. Right? Because the whole point is to have that, like that release of guilt, that release of shame, that release of regret, and hopefully to arrive at responsibility, to arrive at accountability, to arrive at what hopefully feels like a readiness, an emotional, psychological, and spiritual readiness, kind of like a fresh slate situation where it's like, okay, I have reconciled whatever pain from this last chapter is, and I have reconciled my level of ownership over the whole situation. And I feel like I can close that chapter cleanly and start freshly and move on. And you might have to revisit, all of this stuff in terms of, reconciling certain emotions, or having to, get closure on this thing or that thing or that thing, right? Maybe it doesn't happen all at once. But the whole idea and the intention is to get some level of closure so you can have a feeling, a legitimate feeling in your body, in your mind, in your spirit of like, okay, I can put a lot of that weight behind me, and I can forgive myself, and I can move forward and admit that, you know what, like that was not the best of me, and that was not cool, and I hate that, but I can't do anything about it, and I'll still process a lot of it moving forward, but I feel good, and I feel in a good enough spot to, have a new plan and take action and have a sense of accountability moving forward, such that you're not stuck in the past, right? Okay. Hopefully hopefully, you can find your way through all that. I know you can, in fact. And so then the next step, and this is like the cool part, right? Because this is ultimately a great thing, right? This is closing the chapter on playing small and avoiding, and opening the next chapter of better things, right? Making the changes in your life that you want to make, addressing the elephant in the room of different areas of your life that you've wanted to change but have not, right? Whether it's your personal health, whether it's your bank account, whether it's your career, whether it's your relationship and wanting one or improving the one you have, maybe it's your social life, right? And the whole nature and the whole idea is that not only do you want more, but you deserve so much better and you are capable of so much better. And it is your time to put the safety comfort blanket, the safety comfort pacifier of marijuana to the side in favor of pursuing the life you actually want to be living, right? And making the changes in all of these areas that you want to be making. And as you and I both know, it's not easy stuff, but it is doable, and it requires the best of you. It requires the best of us. And low key, we want to step up to the challenge. That's the thing, is we actually want to step up to the challenge. Despite maybe the fears of it or the insecurities of it, but that's exactly why we want to do it. We want to know that we aren't our insecurities, and we want to grow past our fears and grow past our insecurities. That's the nature of growth, right? And so that's the exciting part. That's there's a bunch of different programs or courses or free videos or just systems, or just, it doesn't even have to be that deep, right? It's like, okay, well, what do you want? You want to lose 10 pounds? Okay. Well, exercise more and eat better, right? Okay, you want to transition jobs? Okay, what kind of job do you want? Okay, what are the opportunities out there? Okay, where can you apply for them, right? So it's like, you don't have to go do some course to change your life. It's like, okay, well, it's just a matter of what's the next area of your life you want to address? What do you want? And then go from there. Right? And the beauty is that now that you are willing and have the courage to face things, right? Now the real work can begin. All right, change this area. Step 1, what do I want? What's the plan? How do I get there? And so this leads me to the offer I want to extend to you, which is 1 free hour of coaching / consulting. I am a life coach. I specialize in deep listening and help people get clarity and have breakthroughs with whatever they are going through, and ultimately to empower you and hold you accountable to whatever standard, whatever outcome you want for yourself. Okay, so that is 1 free hour of a session. I usually offer these sessions to my clients at around $50 to $100 per hour. Some clients have me for a full year at $1,000, right? So this is 1 free session to you, completely free, only if you are serious. And my mission is to serve 10 free sessions to 10 separate people this next month, January and February. And so reach out to me via Instagram at Gabe_Santos, or email me at g.santos28@gmail.com. I will put both of those in the description below. Other than that, y'all, I hope that this video found you guys well. Again, and it is an honor to be here with you guys at this moment. But yeah, hope to hear from you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.